Okay, so I want to talk about JJ Redick and LeBron James podcast again, guys. They just dropped episode 2 of Mind the Game podcast with LeBron James and JJ Redick. Episode 2 was dope, and I want to go over something that I watched while I was watching that episode. And yeah, man, so let's get right into today's video. So let me put everything into context for you guys. So remember when Stephen A. Smith had said this about LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast when they had dropped episode 1 of Mind the Game podcast. Let's check out what Stephen A. Smith had to say to that. Here's the video.
I must say I am a little upset that LeBron James is like going on a podcast and he still haven't been on the Draymond Green show.
Stephen A. Smith created his own narrative about LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast.
So what happens is when you get with somebody like a JJ who knows the game, who's a brilliant basketball mind, but can be a bit truculent or acerbic at times when somebody he believes is ignorant is in his face talking about the game, to have a voice like that serves LeBron in a multitude of ways. It's a brilliant move on LeBron James' part. Very slick. And it will work like heaven against everybody except me.
Okay, so I did a full video talking about that, and I had highlighted Draymond Green and Brian Windhorst's response to LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast. Again, man, a lot of people were reacting to it, giving their opinions about it, putting out narratives and everything about the podcast. Really, it was just coming off as jealousy, in my opinion, and a lot of other people agreed with me on that. So I was watching episode 2 of their podcast, and that inspired today's video. So I want to highlight the intro of episode 2 of LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast. Let's highlight the clip right here, and then I'll be right back with some more commentary, guys. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't for me already. That really does help support the YouTube channel. I really do appreciate that, guys. Let's check out this clip right here.
I want to go over some of the key terminology. All right, the first 2 words are tilt and fire. I want to be clear here. Every team in the NBA has a code word or a word for a double team. A lot of teams I played on, we had a color scheme. So blue was a double team from the nail. Green was a double team from the baseline side. In this case, tilt and fire represent those colors. Tilt means in a post-up, a double team from the baseline side. Fire means in a post-up, a double team from the nail. And of course, we covered what the nail was in episode 1. Next 2 terms are hedge and blitz. So these are common terms in pick and roll coverage. Now in the NBA right now, not a lot of teams hedge in pick and rolls. A hedge is simply when the screener's defender jumps out past the screener and tries to reroute the ball handler around the screener's defender, and then the screener's defender will retreat back to the screener. Again, not a lot of teams do that, primarily because everybody can shoot the basketball. Sometimes in inverted pick and rolls, or sometimes as teams are targeting matchups, certain players will hedge. So for instance, if LeBron James is being guarded by Jonathan Kuminga and he wants to get a switch for Steph Curry, he will have whoever is guarding Steph Curry come set a pick and roll. And more times than not, Steph Curry will hedge, reroute LeBron, and then return to his man. That is what a hedge is. A blitz is simply a double team on a pick and roll. All right, a ghost screen, or as LeBron calls it, a bluff screen. A ghost screen is simply when you run in to set a pick and roll and you essentially don't stop, but you just run past the pick and roll and you either go to at the 3-point line or you slip to the basket. That's essentially what a ghost screen is. It's a ghost screen because you're not really there. You're essentially just trying to create confusion for the 2 defenders involved in what looks like a pick and roll, but is actually just a ghost screen. Tag and 2-9 go hand in hand. We have a defensive 3-second rule in the NBA. So as a defender, you're only allowed to be in the paint for 3 seconds without guarding anyone. There's 2 ways around this. You can tag a cutter, which simply means touching a cutter as he goes through the paint. 2-9 is simply a game of cat and mouse. How long can you be in the paint in a help position while not guarding anyone, but not get a 3-second violation? 1,000, 2,000. You're trying to be in and out in 2.9 seconds. That's what we mean by 2-9. So when you're watching a game and you see a player with 1 foot in the paint, 1 foot out of the paint, 1 foot in the paint, 1 foot out of the paint, almost like a tap dance, he's 2-9ing. A couple other simple terms: backside, weak side, strong side. Strong side is simply the side of the floor where the ball is. So if a player is on the right wing, the right side of the floor is the strong side. If a player is positioned in the corner while that player has the ball on the right wing, then the player in the corner is on the strong side of the floor. If a player is in the left corner, opposite the ball, the other side of the court, he's in the weak side. Backside is a little bit interchangeable with weak side. Backside is also a play where a player starts in a corner, opposite the ball. Let's say the point guard passes to the 5-man at the top of the key. The player in the corner then receives a pin down and comes along the 3-point line and gets a dribble handoff from the 5-man. That's backside. Think Manu Ginobili in San Antonio. Or, even better, think JJ Redick in Philadelphia. All right, I want to go over what is called a Varejao screen. A Varejao screen is actually named after LeBron's teammate in Cleveland, Anderson Varejao. And all a Varejao screen is when a screener flips the side and angle of the screen. Let me show you. In this case, the X's are the offensive players, the O's are the defensive players. So in this case, the big man would run into this pick and roll, the defender would follow, and as he gets to the screen, instead of setting the screen on this side where the offensive player would get to his right hand, he simply flips the angle on the screen side and Varejaos it. And the offensive player gets to drive away from the defense because most of the time, this defender of the screener has followed and is assuming he's going to provide help defense on this side. Varejao. Chaos ensues.
Okay, so the reason why I want to highlight that, remember I showed Stephen A. Smith hating on the podcast, right? Well, in my opinion, this is how JJ Redick and LeBron James is responding to Stephen A. Smith and all of the naysayers about their podcast. Look at how they have to explain basic basketball terms. And the reason why they have to do that is because of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and the whole debate sports culture thing that they had created. Remember, Dan Lepetard called Stephen A. Smith out for that in his face.
I hate what you two have done to sports television.
You can say that all you want to. I would say, who the hell are you to sit up there and say me and him? What about you? Where the hell were you? Living under a rock, teaching at Miami U? You were a part of it too.
I'm talking.
You ain't innocent.
I'm talking about all the imitators that you have birthed. All of the imitators that are all over the place, thinking without the journalism credentials that the point of all this is to turn it into an argument on television.
So we have to keep in mind, guys, you're going to see a lot of these big TV guys and networks hate on LeBron James and JJ Redick new podcast. Why? Because they don't want the average sports fan to be smart. And we can see it's already run its course over there on FS1 Undisputed. We already did a video highlighting Skip Bayless numbers. Stephen A. Smith, ESPN First Take, their numbers is not what it used to be. But yeah, man, I just want to highlight that in today's video. Y'all get in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made this far in the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Comment down, new sub if you're a new sub over here, man. I'll catch you guys on the next video. And we out, guys. Peace.